I think the linkclick Season 3 Part 1 opening team has been hinting that Cheng Xiaoshi and Lu Guang are going to be separated. And it's making me depressed. Let's look into the visuals. More than necessary. We first see some pictures which I think we can assume were taken by baby Guang. The first photo is that of a moving train and then birds flying towards the same direction. On the next photo, it appears to be a train that has gone farther from the station but now closer to the mountains and near a flower field with... Are these daisies? Anyway, it looks like Lu Guang is already fond of taking pictures of landscapes since childhood. After baby Guang took a photo, we see him look back, as if someone has called him or also took a photo of him. Most likely Cheng Xiaoshi. This might be a field that's near the train tracks, where we saw them interact as kids from a trailer. Actually, this field also appears to be the same as where Cheng Xiaoshi is in on the latest trailer. It's giving the impression that adult Cheng Xiaoshi might end up going back to the past as himself, exactly where baby Guang is in this picture. Another scene which we've also seen in one of the trailers is the hand that's holding the negative of a kitty, which appears to be the same as Lu Guang's cat version. In the trailer, it was shown that it was Cheng Xiaoshi doing it, so it's probably the same in the opening team. But who knows? Maybe Cheng Xiaoshi gave that negative to Lu Guang, and it's actually Lu Guang doing the same here in the opening team. In any case, I wonder why they had to include this scene in the opening team. If it's symbolizing something, maybe it has something to do with needing some light source in order to see the picture from a negative. Since Lu Guang is Cheng Xiaoshi's light, then Lu Guang was what he needed in order to see a better picture of something, or to see something positive from something negative. Ooh. Anyway, on the next scene, someone's holding a Polaroid camera, and it looks like they just took a picture as the photo is already being printed on this scene. Whatever photo was printed out might be the same as what's being pinned here. They are photographs of landscapes too, and some appear to be from Britain, and some are from their hometown in China. Then someone is shaking this printed Polaroid for it to clear up, and it looks like some countryside near a body of water, and there are two chairs. Perhaps that's the same beach where Cheng Xiaoshi is in on this scene. In any case, after all those photos were shown, we see Cheng Xiaoshi taking a photo. Then, when he puts the camera down, we see his powers activated. This is giving the impression that it was someone else who took the photos of landscapes earlier, and I assume it's Lu Guang. Then Cheng Xiaoshi just took possession of the photographer. So in other words, I think this implies that he's been diving back into the past through those photos. There's no limit to how many times he can jump into photos after all. At least that's what it seemed like in Season 1. Another reason why I think Cheng Xiaoshi had been jumping to the past earlier is because he is alone in the photo studio. Lu Guang might have gone missing, and Cheng Xiaoshi had been searching for him by himself. And the last past he dived into was when he was still a child. I don't know why he's dressed in all white, and I kinda don't want to think of it because, as a fan of the Promised Neverland and Alien stage, children in pure white clothes doesn't mean anything good. I'm so traumatized. Anyway, we see baby Xiaoshi sitting on a bench. And there are multiple kinds of signs that say the same thing, and that is, he has to go to a particular direction. Only the telephone booth seems out of place. I wonder what that could symbolize. Maybe he can ask for help, but he'll get the same answer anyway? Our boy follows those directions, which are maybe his gut feeling, and goes inside this building. Inside is a chaotic maze with multiple paths. I think this place symbolizes time and space, where he can go to multiple paths and timelines. But there's only one point in time that he is searching for. He just keeps on moving forward. It's like his heart knows where he needs to go. He pauses at the sight of a miniature version of what I assume is his old house. At first glance, it looked like the time photo studio, but there seems to be a garage here. So maybe he used to live somewhere else? Or maybe that's what the time photo studio looked like before. Either way, on top is a huge painting with some white papers in place while some had flown away. I assume they are like fragments of time. Those that had flown away are things from the past, which is now beyond one's reach. The only things within our reach are the present and the future. Anyway, on the next scene, baby Xiaoshi takes a peek inside. He sees an empty room of the time photo studio. Perhaps this means he feels empty? Or there's something missing in his childhood? Well, time suddenly runs fast and we've fast forwarded to the Cheng Xiaoshi of the current timeline. Maybe this meant that he had been searching for something since childhood, but he had no choice but to keep on moving forward no matter how much time has passed. He only stops when he finds the room with baby Guang. Lukwang is crying! Oh, my poor baby! Please don't cry. Everything is okay. Oh, darling! Ah! This is the only place with some greenery. And behind Lukwang, a tree was growing and its flowers bloomed with some pictures. And this photo is the same picture Lukwang had used to go back to the past in the Britain arc. Because of this photo, it's giving the impression that each flower represents the timelines that have been changed, or at least had been used as starting points when someone tries to change the past or create a new timeline. They could be the number of times Lukwang himself went back to the past, but there could be others. After all, it's not only Lukwang who has that ability. But the reason why Lukwang is presented as a child here, I think it's because he's like a child who never physically grew up since he's been going back to the past. But he's crying because he's already having a hard time. It's making him so sad that no matter how hard he tried, he still couldn't save his best friend. Ouch. Oh my god. I really can't bear to watch more of him crying. And it's the same with Cheng Xiaoshi. That's why, as soon as he realizes that it was Lukwang crying, he runs towards him. He was running so fast that he forgot about being careful and almost tripped. I think this shows that Cheng Xiaoshi will find out about what Lukwang had done in Season 3, and that Lukwang's suffering from it. So, he is running towards Lukwang, trying to comfort him. And as he reaches out, he's most likely even calling out Lukwang's name, which baby Guang heard. But stupid mirror setting them apart. Anyway, the mirror wasn't just showing his reflection, but it also reflected the people he had possessed. So on top is Li Tianxi, then from left to right is Wang Qing, Emma, Xiafei, Li Tun, then I wonder if this is really Dodo. Seemed too tall for the little boy. Maybe this is Master Siwon instead? I'm also having doubts on Xiafei because his hair is pure blonde. If it's not an animation mistake, it's either really Xiafei or someone who looks like Xiafei. In any case, the mirrors had reflected everyone whose past Cheng Xiaoshi had affected somehow. I don't understand how they could have gotten in the way of reaching baby Guang though. Maybe it's because there are other paths, or rather, pasts, that Cheng Xiaoshi needed to go through before he can reach his main destination, which is to Lukwang? In any case, we see the hourglass spinning around, but the sands of time don't seem to be moving. Perhaps time had stopped or is spiraling out of control, which is why Cheng Xiaoshi is alone in the forest here, which is similar to the forest we see with Lukwang at the end of Season 2 and in Vortex. Could the forest be hinting about a node from the past that is being attempted to change? In any case, that hourglass was broken and Cheng Xiaoshi fell from it. Could it mean that a node was destroyed? Or did he mess up time and space? But he was suddenly shown floating in the sunset sky next. They kept on showing the sunset in this opening theme that I'm becoming suspicious. What could it mean? Let's see. Endings, transitions, and the quiet passage of time. And it represents closure, the completion of a daily cycle and the peaceful acceptance of change before a new dawn arrives. Then perhaps the sunsets are hinting that there's a significant change in time that's about to happen in Season 3. But it's also a closure or ending of something, like the upcoming end of linkclick story? No! In any case, we see a flying white bird next that appears to be leading Cheng Xiaoshi towards a tunnel again. Does this mean something again? Peace, purity, spiritual awakening, and freedom. Reminds me of escape velocity, but it's also a divine message or a comforting sign from a departed loved one bridging the physical and spiritual realms. What? I didn't read the last part. I shall just assume that the bird is guiding Cheng Xiaoshi again, like the signs from earlier. This tunnel has been present since Dive Back in Time and Vortex. Something must have happened here, something big, and it's a freaking mystery right now. It's so annoying. But since it appears to be a train tunnel, and we've been seeing train tracks in Season 3 trailers, with the main characters as children, then it's giving the impression that something happened in that tunnel that changed the boys' lives forever. And it happened since their childhood. I wonder if the tunnel has something to do with where Cheng Wei-min was shown in the recent trailers. In any case, we're next shown with a comet, which is like a white light that's acting like a guide in the darkness. So is this like what Lukwang is to Cheng Xiaoshi? But this is commonly seen in anime. What do they mean? Let's see. It symbolizes fate, sweeping destruction, or a transcendent bridge between separated forces. It could also mean an omen of cosmic doom to a metaphor for emotional connection, speed, or divine intervention. All of them seem applicable to ShiGuang's fate. Oh, this is depressing. Anyway, fortunately, the next scene is a happy one, or at least it's supposed to be. It shows the main trio as children happily running on a bridge near the sea. This doesn't make sense because it shows that Xiaoling also knew about Lu Guang since childhood, but must have forgotten about him too? What the heck happened? Or maybe it's not exactly something that happened in the past, but more of a what-if scenario. In any case, we next see black birds flying towards adult Cheng Xiaoshi by the shore. Why were there plenty of black birds this time? What do they mean? So, they symbolize mystery, transition, freedom, and higher intuition. It could also be a sign of inner awakening, resilience through hard times, or a prompt attention to changes happening around you. Well, they suit the mood of this scene at least. Cheng Xiaoshi has his powers activated here, and the pasts he had dived into are drifted towards him. Perhaps this shows the realization that he has come to after all his adventures to the past, from the Bridden arc till Season 2. He went through a lot after all, and he persevered. But he learned many important things, and things will be different from now on. Which might be why he looks so serious here. At first, it was like he was overwhelmed with the sea of memories, but later, we see him to have appeared to have fallen out of a building, like in Vortex, but afterwards, he was shown floating, defying gravity. It's like he's doing something that defies the laws of nature. That's how grand his heroic mission currently is, and is helping as much people as he can. And we see some of those people in the later scenes. We see the people which Cheng Xiaoshi has possessed, or may possess in Season 3, in their happiest moments. So first we see Emma with her parents, then the noodle ladies talking about the beginning of their business plans inside the dormitory, then Sun Xiao with his mom, alive? Oh my god. And then Toto happily holding the hands of his parents. And then Su Shanshan together with her best friend and her boyfriend in their college days. Then we've got the young twins with their mom during the time they acquired Li Tianxi's doll. Then Wang Qing with a boy who has to be none other than little Xiafei. Wait, the scenes we've seen so far are the people whom Cheng Xiaoshi has possessed with their loved ones, which could be family or friends. In other words, these are their happiest moments with their favorite people. And Wang Jing is looking at the boy so affectionately, it's almost like a big sister giving a gentle look towards her younger brother. I expected Wang Jing to consider Tong Huimin as someone who has become very important to her since she sees him as her favorite teacher. But this is giving the impression that there's someone else who is more important to her. Oh, linkclick production team, Wang Qing and Xiafei look so alike. Please confirm to us that they're related already. And Xiafei is her long-lost baby brother. Ow! But speaking of Xiafei, he and Vane are shown next. There's already a strong possibility of Cheng Xiaoshi possessing Xiafei in Season 3 because of the trailers and also because of this scene. But there's also a possibility of Vane being possessed if this scene of baby Vane is indeed Cheng Xiaoshi in control. But wait, if all the scenes earlier are the happy moments that happened in the past, even in the current timeline, then does this mean this scene really happened before the prison arc? And this is Xiafei's happiest moment with his favorite person? Or vice versa? Oh my god! Well, if that's the case, my guess is that this is the moment when they decided to treat each other as brothers. Oh my god! Ah! But wait, there's one last scene. It's baby ShiGuang holding hands. Cheng Xiaoshi has possessed Lu Guang after all. So is it because this is Lu Guang's happiest moment with his favorite person? The time when they first met? Ah! Oh my god. But this is not linkclick if we don't have our hearts broken in the end. So, everything's suddenly dark. Cheng Xiaoshi is trying to hug someone, but it seems more like he's hugging nothing. But Lu Guang is Cheng Xiaoshi's light, the light in the darkness he is in. So this light most probably represents Lu Guang. He's hugging Lu Guang. However, Lu Guang appears to be represented by the white butterfly flying away from Cheng Xiaoshi here. So the moment when Cheng Xiaoshi realizes that Lu Guang had left, that's the only moment he starts crying. But we see Cheng Xiaoshi looking back again, no longer crying, but still with a sad face. Afterwards, as the camera zooms out, it's like he's reaching out to someone. I think it means that even if Lu Guang goes far away from him, Cheng Xiaoshi will still try to find him. Oh my god. Anyway, the opening theme ends with someone closing a book, which says linkclick Season 3. Then at the bottom, they look like scribbles. But if you fill in the missing strokes and the lines had been complete, they are actually Chinese characters which says 再见 Cheng Xiaoshi, which means goodbye Cheng Xiaoshi. What the heck, Lu Guang? Oh, this is more devastating than him saying, I'm sorry, Cheng Xiaoshi. But don't lose hope. 再见 could also mean see you, and linkclick's supposed to have a bittersweet ending, and there's still part 2. Yeah, there's hope, but there's also more trauma to come. Lu Guang saying goodbye to Cheng Xiaoshi implies that they're going to be separated. Again. Though well, I kinda expected it since it was foreshadowed since the Britain arc when Lu Guang said that he cannot promise to stay forever. But I think this only confirms that Cheng Xiaoshi and Lu Guang will be separated in part 1. Actually, if I remember correctly, the voice actors of the siblings had revealed that Lu Guang's voice actor had stopped recording around, I forgot if it was episode 7 or 8. Their teaser question was, where did Lu Guang go? Moreover, the 7th episode of the latest Chibi specials actually revealed that ShiGuang are like the mythological characters of a romantic folktale called The Cowherd and the Weaver Girl. Yes, you heard it right. Their situation has parallels to a love story, with Cheng Xiaoshi representing the girl while Lu Guang's the cowherd. But yes, linkclick is still not officially BL. But even if not in a romantic sense, these two are pretty much like soulmates. By the way, there are actually multiple variations of this tale, but the main gist of the story is that it's about star-crossed lovers that are separated by the opposite sides of the Milky Way and are only allowed to meet on a bridge once a year. If we relate their story to ShiGuang, it would mean that they are like soulmates who are doomed to be separated. No. The villain in the folktale who punished the lovers is called the Goddess of Heaven. If that's a reference to Vane, that will be so hilarious. But you know, in that folktale, the lovers have never forgotten each other, unlike Cheng Xiaoshi. But those lovers have never given up on each other. So with ShiGuang, even if fate keeps them apart, with the help of their friends, they will find a way to be together. So maybe this separation happens in part 1, but they might be together again in part 2. Speaking of part 2, there's news about the opening theme being in 2 parts. According to the director and storyboard artist of this opening theme and the upcoming OP2, there's a special design that will only be revealed someday in the future. This is giving the impression that the next opening theme will be explaining some of the mysteries of the current opening theme. It's unclear to me whether this OP2 is the second opening theme of Season 3 Part 1 or if it's actually the opening theme of Season 3 Part 2. But maybe it's more like the former, since they should have called it Season 3 Part 2 OP instead. In any case, in the past, there's been an opening theme with some scene changes, but using the same song, particularly Vortex. If I'm not mistaken, the visuals started to change when Li Tianzhen's identity was revealed, so maybe it's going to be the same in Season 3 Part 1. My guess is that there's going to be a change at the time when Lukwang will go missing. Fans speculate that Yuki Laoshi had placed a clue in the current opening theme, and it's on this photo, which says 1+2 opacity 50%. So maybe it means that OP1 and OP2 are both in 50% but will make sense when put together. But why is it on the picture of a tunnel? Could it be referring to this scene? Would we be seeing something else on this scene on OP2? Or maybe not necessarily on this scene. After all, there had been scenes wherein there are suspiciously empty spaces on the other side of the frame. I think this one is the most obvious. There might be something else which is supposed to be shown at the bottom, similar to what these scenes from LOL were like. Another example is the hands pose in this painting. It is similar to what was in the Tides. Maybe OP2 will show the other hand on the left side. And maybe we're supposed to see young Lukwang here. And maybe the studio isn't even supposed to be empty here. And Cheng Xiaoshi isn't supposed to be hugging empty space here either. Perhaps we're supposed to see Lukwang on this side. And those stuff are going to be shown in OP2, since what we see now is just 50%. So Lukwang might be standing there, then he will turn to a butterfly later. But together, it will look like Cheng Xiaoshi hugging Lukwang. Oh my gosh, the Britain Arc opening theme had been wrecking our brains with ciphers, but the opening theme this time is driving us crazy on what the other part may be. By the way, I think the song itself might be in 2 parts too. There's also so much to say about the lyrics that I had to discuss about them in another video instead. And of course, they're just as painful as the visuals. And yes, I may eventually find out that many of my interpretations turn out to be wrong after I'm finally able to watch Season 3. But what about you? What are your ideas about Season 3's opening themes? Feel free to share in the comments. And as always, thank you so much for watching and I hope to see you again. Take care!